Paige, 18 points for you, 5 assists, 3 steals. What was different about your approach in this game compared to the one in DePaul?
Made some more shots. I think trying to get to the rim a little bit more. My shots are short. The mid-range is short. The three's not falling. Trying to get to the rim, trying to get to the free throw line, create contact. Just be aggressive.
We've been talking about all season, really, about how KK and Ashland's role has changed. What do you think about the spark they provided in this game? They combined for 25 points.
Yeah, it's huge. We need them. Their role is just as important as last year. Obviously, different. They're not starting to come off the bench, but they're just as important. No matter 40 minutes, 25 minutes, the spark that they bring, the energy that they bring, the experience that they bring, even though they're just sophomores, it's huge for the team, and we need them. So they've been great.
How has this team been able to keep up the defensive intensity for all 40 minutes?
I think it's what we hang our hat on now. We don't have the ability to control whether shots go in or not, but we have the ability to control how we defend, how we get on passing lanes, deny, pressure teams, and we want that to be our calling card and what we're known for.
You've got a big test coming up in Tennessee. What are some of the challenges going up against an opponent like that, especially on the road?
I think rebounding. They lead a lot in offensive rebounds, so I think that'll be a huge key. And the ability to shoot threes, but also their drivers and their attackers are aggressive. So being able to do both, close out hard, but also keeping them out of the paint and rebounding for sure.
Last one for you, I'll make it quick. Is this new game day hair? We've been talking about it all broadcast.
See, like, the world woke up to Luka getting traded to the Lakers, so crazier things have happened, but I mean, nah, this is like a one-time thing. My friend Kayla was sick. Geno got a little under the weather, so I think this is just a one-time thing.
Looks good. It's a good look.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Joining us just after a terrific 101-59 win over the Butler Bulldogs. And man, you guys made it look pretty easy this afternoon. 11 consecutive wins now for your team. What's changed over the course of these 11 straight victories?
I think since we got back from the holidays, there's been a little more of a emphasis on our defense, number one, but our pace of play has become much quicker, much more assertive. This doesn't come naturally to players these days. Like, hey, run really, really hard, even though the play might not be for you. Right? That's a foreign concept right now.
Geno, you had 6 in double figures today. How important is that going forward, having that many contributions?
Yeah, I think more. Obviously that's a key. I think it's when you get those points. So it's like the guy that hits a 3-run homer in the ninth when they're up 7-2. So I think it's the points that we have to generate early in the game where we're putting pressure on the other team and everybody gets off to a great start. So the fact that the first half it was a lot of that, yeah. But anytime kids see the ball going in, obviously it helps their confidence.
Well, I think that it leads right into Paige Bueckers, right? She had a quiet game against DePaul, didn't shoot it all that well. Came out, she had 16 in the first half. Was that a concerted effort to get out of the gate quickly?
Yeah, it might have been. My last conversation with Paige when she was a sophomore, I mentioned that. So maybe maybe she remembers, But I think that's the key to us going forward in everything that we do. If people have to figure out, okay, how do we keep her from getting bucket after bucket after bucket after bucket, then all of a sudden everybody else pops open and then they start, piling on. But there's very little that you can do when she's, making those kinds of cuts or, getting to that pull up. But and also today I thought you see there a lot more activity on the defensive end. So it wasn't just stand around and wait for shots. It was more, wide. It was more variety of things.
Yeah.
Geno, if you'd say your team has a weakness right now, what do you think your team's weakness is?
I think it's been the same since the beginning of the season. I think we have to be better in the post. I think we have to rebound better. I think we do a pretty good job defensively, although we'll see, Thursday night, we'll see. I think we're pretty good at moving the ball, and so we got to score in the post. We got to defend in the post. and we have to stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah, we always talk about that, the fact that you've got to get more from the bigs, right? Especially when you look at the national landscape. We always talk about UCLA, and they've got the game changer in Lauren Betts.
Yeah.
How do you defend that? How do you attack that? That's going to be huge for your team.
Yeah, no one else has figured it out, so I don't expect us to. So you look around the country and you say, okay, name me 5 players that love being in the post and love catching the pass, scoring, right, and getting people in foul trouble. It seems to be a lost art. You know, everybody wants to be a shooter, and UCLA does have a weapon that very few, if anybody else, has, you know, by having Lauren Betts.
Yeah, I agree. It's a lost art.
It is.
Yeah,
100%.
I'm glad you say that because everyone talks about positionless basketball now.
Yeah.
I think you need a big in there to win a championship. Come on.
Well, you need one that can be effective.
Right.
Just having big kids isn't good enough.
Right.
They need to be effective. They need to be productive. Even if they're just shot blockers or even if they're just rebounders, you know, if you know what you're going to get.
Well, you got to rest a few people today. And you have a big, I hate to talk about it, on the horizon here. We have Tennessee on Thursday night. Can you tell us a little bit about that game and how you're preparing for it?
It's a little bit different. You know, obviously a lot has changed over the years, right?
Yeah.
This is 1, 2, 3, my 4th coach at Tennessee.
That's true.
Since I started, right? So the style of play is way different than it's ever been. The amount of threes that they shoot, the constant pressure that they put on, the offensive rebounding that they do, it's not something that you see on a regular basis. So you really have to be prepared for it, and you have to be aggressive with it. I think it's going to be a great test for how tough we are with the ball and how tough we are moving without the ball. Those 2 things are going to be huge.
Yeah, let's finish on this, and just to go a little bit deeper on that. So it's Tennessee on Thursday,
Correct.
And then a couple of weeks down the road, South Carolina. Will we get a real gauge on your team? Do you think you'll get a better gauge on your team over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, of course. I think when you step outside the conference, obviously everything changes.
Yep.
When you play 2 teams that pose a different kind of issue than you see here. You know, let's put it this way: it didn't used to be an issue back in the day. So hopefully we can get back to, you know, those games give us an opportunity to prove ourselves. You know, but then again, we've won these games and not won a championship. We've lost some of these games and won a championship. So I just think it's great to play these games for everybody, including the team.
You're always great about scheduling the way you do. That really gets your team ready to play come March.
Yeah. The craziest thing is you want to play as many really good teams as you can. In the year 2000, as a matter of fact, when we got to the regionals in 2000, there were 16 teams left. We had played 13 of them during the regular season. So there's no surprises,
right?
For the most part. So that's kind of why you do it as well.
Yep, Geno, great to visit with you. Thanks for spending time with us.
I hope we can do it. I hope we can do it again. And I know it was in the paper today, and it's been said.
Yep.
And all the people back in the studio and everywhere. There's nothing like being on SNY and what you all do for us. And I've enjoyed every second of it.
Oh,
that is kind.
We're going to miss you.
We are going to miss you. And I'll just say this. You have been terrific to us, the access. And you've been such a pleasure. So we're thankful in return.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. It is the Hall of Famer. It is Geno Auriemma. His team picks up the 101-59 win today over Butler.